Okay, so this tutorial is if you are stuck on the minutes. These are some examples of problems that you'll see on there and that maybe you already learned and haven't actually understood very well. So the first one, or problem that you got on your minute is something like this that says simplify. So you read it as 5 parentheses 12 plus 4 minus 9. Now, you remember from PEMDAS, or please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, that you're supposed to do what's inside of the parentheses first. However, this is called the order of operations. You want to do, in fact, what's inside of the parentheses first, the groups. So when you add, you'll add from left to right. Okay, so 12 plus 4 is 16. And then you're going to do 16 minus 9. Well, 16 minus 9 is 7. And then you're left with 5 parentheses 7. Now, the operation that's being done from the 5 and the 7 is multiplication. So you're going to get 5 times 7, which equals 35. Okay? Now, another problem on your minutes worksheet is multiplying fractions. Multiplying fractions is straightforward. You just learned that you multiply across. Okay, so you will do 1 times 1 is equal to 1. And then you'll do your denominators and multiply your denominators. And you will do 2 times 4 is equal to 8. So your answer is 1/8. Okay, well, what does this even mean? Or how can you see this or a picture for this? So another thing for fractions, or another way of saying multiplication or reading multiplication, or multiplying fractions, instead of saying 1/2 times 1/4, you would say 1/2 of 1/4. So if you have a fourth of something, okay, well, let's go to, for example, here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces, okay, so my whole is cut into 4 pieces, okay. Now the problem is, what's 1/2 of 1/4? Okay, well, there's 1/4. What am I going to do with that fourth? I'm going to cut it in half. Okay, now I only want 1/2 of that whole. Okay, and how much of the entire pieces is, or the entire whole is shaded? Well, I have 1. And then how many now pieces are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So my answer will be 1/8. Now if we go back, that's the same answer that we got by just doing the multiplication way. This picture way takes a little bit longer. It just shows you what you're doing. It just shows you what multiplying does. Okay. Here is another one. Again, you can draw a picture for this, or do your traditional 2 times 5 is 10, and then 3 times 8 is 24. Now, is this my answer? This is a answer. It is probably not the answer that you'll see on a exam, on a multiple choice question. Why? Because 10 and 24, okay, have a common factor, okay, meaning that they can both be divided by a number. Okay, well, what's the greatest common factor? What's the biggest number that they have in common? Well, a lot of you are going to say 2, okay? So, basically, yes, they're both even numbers. 10 is an even number, and 24 is an even number, okay? And both of them are divisible by 2. So, if I do 10 divided by 2, what does that give me? Well, 10 divided by 2 is 5, okay? 10 divided by 2 is 5, okay? Now I'm going to do 24 divided by, hold on, 24 divided by 2. What's 24 divided by 2? Well, that's 12. Okay. And so, 1 second. Okay. So 24 divided by 2 is 12. And you're left with your answer is 5/12. Okay. Now, adding fractions is different than multiplying them because you cannot just multiply across. When you add fractions, your denominators need to be the same. Okay? They need to be the same. Okay? So, in order to do that, you want to figure out, again, what is their, in this situation, their smallest common multiple. Okay, well, 2 okay, can be turned into a 4. Okay, and how do I do that? By multiplying by 2. However, if I multiply the bottom by 2, I need to also multiply by numerator by 2. Why? Okay, if I multiply something by 1, it doesn't change it. And why are you saying that I'm saying 1? Well, ideally, okay, you are multiplying the fraction by 1. Because this right here is a giant 1. The 2 right here divided by 2 right here is a giant 1. So when you multiply this whole fraction by that, it's not going to change it. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that now. So 2 times 1 is 2, and 2 times 2 is 4. Now I'm going to bring down this one plus 1/4. Now these have the same denominator, so now I can leave that alone and do 2 plus 1 is 3. My answer is 3/4. This is a very simple problem to see with just pictures too. Okay, how can I just see that with just pictures? Because, well, you have a half plus 1/4. Well, 1/2 plus 1/4. Okay, I'm gonna have, here's my half and here's my fourth. Well, how much do I have actually? 3/4. Okay, so this is easy enough for you to see. It's not always going to be the case, but you do need to remember that for adding, you need to have the same denominators. So decimals, fractions, and percents. This is one of the things that you guys have the most trouble with. Now, if you remember the portions web, which many of you don't, this is a web that you basically write your number as a decimal form. in a fraction. So let me write that down over here. We want the fraction. And we want the percent. Okay. Well, fraction usually, the way that we write our fraction is by reading our, reading the actual name or the number, the name of the number, I'm sorry. So for example, this is in decimal form, okay? A lot of you are used to saying 0.085. No. You need to think back to how you learned how to say this. And you learned how to say this. Well, this 5 is in what place? It's in the thousands. Okay? It's in the thousands. So how do you say this number? You would say it 85 thousands. Okay? Well, how is that going to help me? That's going to help me write my fractions. 85 over 1,000. That's how I would write it into a fraction. Now, percent is different. Percent means per 100 or per 100. Okay? Now, per 100 means that I'm going to take my decimal and multiply. So let me take that decimal and multiply by 100 to get the percent per 100. So for that, okay, remember that when you multiply by 100, you need to only move the decimal twice. So my answer is going to be 8.5%. Okay, I'm going to do another one. Here, this one, you already have the fraction. Okay, the fraction's already there for you. So that one, now you want the decimal. Okay, well, how do I do that? Well, the fraction, this sign right here means divide. So you're going to have to do 3 divided by 8. Well, remember that this is inside. So 3 divided by 8. That's out, in and out. Okay. So you have 3 cheese sticks. You're going to divide them in between 8 people. Okay. That's the division problem that you're going to do. So let me erase these things. Don't have that much space here. That's why. Bear with me. And go ahead. If you have 3 cheese sticks, can you give 1 whole cheese stick to everybody? No. What you're going to do is you're going to cut those cheese sticks into 10. So now I'm going to have 30 pieces. Okay? If I divide those 30 little pieces in between 8 people and you give them away, well, how many times does 8 go into 30? It goes 3 times. 8 times 3 is 24. Okay, you're going to go ahead and subtract 30 minus 24. Okay, and then you have to borrow here. 10 minus 4 is 6. Does 8 fit into 6? No, so you have to bring down a 0. Does 8 fit into 60? Yes. How many times? 7. 8 times 7 is 56. I'm sorry. Let me write that better. 56. And now I'm going to subtract again. Borrow 10. Bring down the 4. Again, bring down another 0. How many times does 8 fit into 40? Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to put the 7 right here. 5 times. 8 times 5 is 40. Now I have a remainder 0. And my decimal is 375 thousandths. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and write that down. Okay. And bear with me. Okay. So now I have my decimal. And to go from a decimal, okay, to a percent, okay, I'm going to multiply by 100. Okay. So what am I going to do? I'm going to move this over twice, and my percent is now 37.5%. Okay. Area. Okay, so area is another topic that's going to be on this, and the area again is the space inside. Okay, so area equals usually length times width. And sorry, let me actually just put L times width, or let me spell it out, length times width. Hopefully it sticks with you. Okay, why? Because the area is the space inside. Okay, and area is usually calculated in square units. Why? Okay, well, if this side is 3, okay, so there's my side, 1, 2, 3. It's 3 units, whatever units you're using, centimeters, inches, whatever it is, it's 3 units. And if this one is 2, okay, 1, 2 inches, centimeters, units, whatever you're using, okay, well, what's the area? What's the space inside? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 square units. Okay, well, instead of drawing these rectangles, okay, because you're not always going to get lengths and widths that are 3 and 2 and really small, you know not the shortcut, but the faster way to do it is by multiplying. So for this next one over here, instead of drawing those lines and then counting the squares, I know that I'm just going to do 9 times 7. Well, what's 9 times 7? 9 times 7 equals 63 units squared. Hold on, let me rewrite that. Squared. It's hard to write with this little pen. Okay, and let me see what's next. Oh, this one. Okay, so evaluate. So these look weird because there's letters. When in the world did it become okay to use letters in math? Well, they're saying evaluate if K equals 3 and J equals 6. Well, these letters are actually variables. They stand for a number. In this case, they're giving you the number. So that means that when I have JK, just kidding, you're going to do, what's the operation that's being done? You don't have these two numbers next to each other, these two letters next to each other. There's no plus sign in between there. So you already know that these are actually being multiplied. Well, how do I multiply these? And let me actually remove that line so that you don't get confused. Okay, this means, that means J times K. Well, what's J? Okay, J is 6. So I'm going to put 6 instead of a J. Okay, and what's K? K is 3. So 6 times 3 equals 18. So my answer is 18. Let's do another one. What about something like this? Okay, evaluate, and that's what they're always going to tell you. When, and the same numbers, Okay, they can give you different numbers. In this case, it's the same thing. So again, J is 3. So I'm going to put a 3 for J. 3 plus K. What's K? And K is 6. Sorry for that. And then all over 3. Well, what's 3 plus 6? That's 9 divided by 3. What's 9 divided by 3? It's 3. Next, oh, this one looks funny. Again, what was J? Okay, well, what is this one asking you? This is actually saying there's J is in parentheses, and then it's raised to the power of 2. That's called an exponent. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and substitute for J, okay, 3 instead of J now, to the power of 2, plus K. What was K? Well, again, K is the same thing. Sorry, hold on 1 second. I'm sorry, not K. 6. Well, what does 3 to the power of 2 mean? That means that we're going to do 3 times 3 plus 6. What's 3 times 3? That's 9. So 9 plus 6. And 9 plus 6 equals 15. So my answer is 15. Okay? Alright, so I hope that helps. If you have any other questions, go ahead and ask or suggest a different video. Also, feel free to skip through these however you like.